Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out Rolling Madness 3D. It is a re-adaptation of one of my old favorite classic games, Marble Madness. You may remember from the arcades and NES and possibly even a couple of other consoles and handhelds back from the era, the early 90s, late 80s time period. And what we do in this game, it's so simple. We race a marble from the beginning of a maze to the end of a maze, and each maze has its own quirks and intricacies that you need to overcome. I think there's like 6 or 7 in total. Maybe it's not even that many. It might be actually 5 or 6. And it's a real short game, and somebody's finally taken it and redone it so it's not just sprite-based anymore. It's actually a fully 3D version of the game that I know and remember and love from my childhood. So I was very excited to find this, and why don't we give it a spin through our menu here. Also, let's just very quickly look at the options. There's actually quite a few options. The game is very well laid out. It's very professionally done, I have to say. We've got a bunch of camera options, perspective options, there's presets, we have full video options, whatever we need there. Rendering, we can actually render this in pastel. I'm not really sure what that's about. I haven't seen that one before. Trying to see what that looks like. I guess it kind of puts like a cartoonish sheen on things, but I prefer the version that looks almost identical to the old NES version that I remember personally. And if you have different memories of this game from a different reason, from a different console, different, or maybe arcade machines or whatever, then that's cool too. But just so you know, that's what I remember it from. So this setup right now, I set it up to the keyboard. I have it mapped to my controller using Joy-to-Key. The default is to use mouse controls. I would probably advise against that. It didn't really control that well for me on mouse. I mean, it was accurate, but you have to like lift up and replace the mouse over and over again, which gets a little bit tiresome and isn't the most conducive to long-term play, I would say. Not that a run of this is going to necessarily take you very long. Each level of it usually takes place in under a minute, and like I said, there's a handful of levels, so why don't we give it a try, and we can see how it goes. So, like I said, the game essentially uses very similar graphics and style to the original version that I remember. It actually has the same layout, the same graphical style, the actual sprites and textures that are on all the surfaces look very similar to the way they were on the old version. And even the ball has a similar behavior to it, although I think there are some animations that are slightly changed. And even the font for things like the typography looks very similar, whether that be for the timer, this part right here where it says time to begin, and then also the finish line area, that also looks rather similar as well. And the level designs are spot on. They look exactly the same as they did. In fact, all the obstacles seem to be present and accounted for. The black marble that chases you around, these slinky things over there. Even the machinery that powers this little bridge device seems to have the same stuff going on in it, which is, some really nice touches that aren't necessarily things you might necessarily expect to see. And there's, actual shadows and everything, and, the levels take on a life of their own in a way that is kind of refreshing, because I didn't really know that there would be more going on there. This obstacle in particular, I always found very frustrating in the old version of the game, and I have to say it's about equally as frustrating in this version, although I actually got through it fairly quickly. And I've noticed my times are not nearly as good as they were in the old Nintendo version, but, I guess I'm rusty, which is totally fair as well. This was the level that I had with my favorite music out of the whole game, and that's one thing also this game seems to have very similar, if not borrowed, music from the original version. And that's fine, because I love that version's music. And if you'll notice, there's even little details like the patterns and the textures underneath that top layer that I seem to be walking across. That was acid, by the way, in case I run into that. It actually melts the marble. In the version that I played, though, it turned the marble into fizz, basically. It would just dissolve the thing. In this one, it just kind of melts onto the ground. It's harder to control than you might imagine. Oh, no! I think that's kind of the point, though, isn't it? If you could control it easily, I guess we wouldn't really be talking about very much right now. So I'm having an okay run so far. Certainly not going to make it through to the end or anything. Especially given that this is one of the more tricky levels. I really appreciate the attention to detail on each one of these level layouts. It's like exactly the way that I remember it, which is just so weird to see it done in 3D. It's like, who'd have thought all these years later that someone would care enough to bother to model all of this stuff? It's just fantastic. Is there actually dynamic shading? I think there is actually dynamic shading, and even that little catapult move thing that actually works properly. These little levers, or whatever you want to call these cylinders that pop up. They look like they actually work properly. I wanted to see what the hammers look like if we could get to the end of this level. I might have to give it another run, because this game is honestly a lot of fun. And wow, okay, I can't really seem to get past these. I should have taken the other route. Fair enough. Okay, so we'll get through this. It's got a high score. We'll actually be able to input our name on the high score list, and it should already be... Oh, no, it's not there already, so I'm just going to type that in real quick, and then we will start another run. I just want to see if I can make it to, you know, the Everything You Know Is Wrong level, which is, I think, the one after that. It almost looks like the way the resolution is, or the sort of faded nature of this high scoreboard sort of reminds me a little bit of, like, it looks like an aged arcade cabinet monitor, but maybe that's just my eyes playing tricks on me. The game is nice and smooth, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. It's running at 60 frames per second, stays locked in and everything, so no worries with regards to that. And you can really speed around on this thing, too. There was always these little touches, like, what's up with these little hopscotch boards on the sides of the level? I mean, I guess you can go other ways if you want to fling yourself in that direction off the edges. I never really messed around, and I always went straight for the goal. Maybe it speaks to the level of efficiency that I look for when I play games or something. I don't know. Excuse me, marble. I remember in the past you could actually break that marble if you would hit it enough times or in the right way. Oh my god, it actually broke me instead of... Usually that thing would eat the marble, but I guess that has changed a little bit. Let's try going the other way if we could. Oh my gosh, I'm getting chased! I'm pretty sure the black marble wasn't allowed to follow you down in this scenario, which this may have just screwed up my run, because this is very hard to navigate. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I actually made it through that. I guess if you're very proficient, that might be the slightly faster way to go. Oh, I actually lived there too. And what was that? I got to the goal and then fell off. I guess the timer stopped though, so who cares? So on to the intermediate race. I thought I remember this level being slightly more green, but maybe that's just in my mind also. It's so bouncy! Alright, oh, I guess I fell a little bit too fast down that hill. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going! The marble seems to get dizzy an awful lot, which I do remember happening quite frequently in the old version too, but like it seems like it happens even more in this one. I wonder if there's a way you can, like, cheese that by sliding down some other direction. Or maybe I could even just jump over this gap right here. Alright, we're having an okay run. I think that actually might be my best so far. 17 seconds on the clock. Let's see if we can make it through this one now. On the aerial race. A very grandiose name for it. I guess it's pretty aptly named, considering we start on some sort of, like, almost a ski peak or something like that. Watch out for the vacuums. Oh, man. There we go. Keep going. Get to the catapult. Oh, I went straight over the catapult. That seems like a good way to mess with the game, if you could just go over the catapult. So you can actually just slide on to the area below. It's going to open up some new avenues for possibly getting speedrunnery-esque routes down, since you now have actual physics to things instead of like the kind of strange post-calculated physics that the NES version might have had. Alright, please stop falling off of everything. Okay, I hate that you can't see the ball at all right now, except for, you know, the whatever that ball pattern is that's inside of it. So the stars in a Dragon Ball or something. Oh god, we're not gonna make it to the hammers! Okay, well, there's the hammers. They look kind of goofy. I thought I remembered them looking like arms with hammers at the end of them, but maybe I misremembered that as well. They were pretty, you know, blurry, to be honest with you, so who knows, maybe I'm wrong. And it saved my name, so isn't that lovely? So that was Rolling Madness 3D. If you want to check this one out, the link's going to be in the description. The game is totally free. Feel free to give it a download. Let me know what you think, if it compares to your memories. If you have any memories of Marble Madness, of course, feel free to let me know. I'd be curious to know what you think about this one. Very well done, professionally done, and more features and, you know, options than I would have expected as well. So all in all, thumbs up, a testament to the memories that I have. And I wish more people would do, you know, stuff like this. I'd love to see more games remade, you know, very properly in this respect. So definitely a lot of respect to the developer. And I hope you guys go give it a look. So I will see you again for another episode tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like on it. It helps me out quite a bit. And of course, you can check out some of my other stuff if you want to over in the description. Oh, look at that. You get a panning view over the entire level. That's handy. So now we could have seen the hammers right from there. It's a longer level than I remember, actually. The end always sneaks up on you. You think it's all, you know, front-loaded, but it's actually more towards the end. But yeah, let me know what you think. and hopefully come back again tomorrow for another episode of Indie Impressions. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.